right. Okay, Donald's already in the making of a good mushroom here. Yeah. Okay, all right. He doesn't want to joke around. All right, he went government style here. Okay, all right. Okay, I'm okay. I'm used to it. Gee, eh? Well, hey, why not? You know, I love everybody. Even when you're not loving yourself, I still love you. Okay? Even when you're not giving yourself a hickey, I still love you. Okay? Eat that bannock with joy, with love. Oh, I'm making fun with you. If you do not understand that, please forgive me. I'm learning. I want to have fun. I want to enjoy our nations. And look at this. This is a great, beautiful, sober environment. And if we can't joke around in a sober environment, what are we going to do in a drunken environment? Throw our pain out there? Old story. What I said to myself when I put that bottle down, because this is my equivocation of alcohol. And I call it Uncle Al, and I say, Uncle Al, thank you for being there when nobody was there. Thank you for giving me a good feeling when nothing else existed. But Uncle Al, you took me down a trail that I did not expect. So for me, what I say to Uncle Al, you know, Uncle Al, that confidence I feel when I'm under that influence, you know what? I'm going to do that without you. I'm going to be crazy without you. I'm going to have more fun without you. But to the spirit of alcohol, I say thank you, because there was times you were the only one there. And you know what? You helped remove my spirit. And that spirit that's looking after me, I'm going to call it back. And I'm going to remind myself, because there's times I'm tempted. Of course, I'm only human. I want to go out and drink. I want to go out and get drunk. But you know what? I love myself too much for that. And you know what this elder told me? Was that when we are under the influence, it affects our children's spirit. And I want my son to be rooted and strong. Today, when I seen Dallas dancing with his son, I'm inspired. I am inspired to see father and son in a beautiful way. So thank you. Thank you for being a good son to your dad, Dallas Jr. And thank you to your dad for being a good dad. Thank you. I'm learning from it. Oh, well, I already thanks Cookham already. Yeah, I gave her a hickey. She's old enough to know better. All right, folks. Oh, sorry, Donald. All right.
We're ready to go.
We're ready? Here we go, folks.
Okay, sorry, ladies and gentlemen. I want to do a little introduction for the panel that I wrote up, because we're all dealing intergenerational. So I'd like to acknowledge the Cree and the Blackfoot Métis people of the territory, our elders. I'm a Métis filmmaker and a UPS bus driver. Some say Canada translate a land that is clean. Others say a village. With the event being a part of a national initiative, I asked myself, what is resonating reconciliation? Google it, Webster it, Oxford it. It really doesn't matter what English definition is defined. When the issues of intergenerational trauma, the regeneration of the unworthiness of being is passed down generation after generation, I share that I was part of that cycle that was resonating around Canada's First People because of the color of one's skin and Christian doctrines. A hatred that resonated through history since contact to last week when I was spit upon by some redneck. Peter Newman wrote a book called Pagans of a Promised Land, taking the reader all the way back to the Vatican Papers. Christian doctrine supposedly giving the old world leaders the right to conquer the heathens and infidels and bring Christianity to the new world. What was brought was the cultural genocide against all indigenous people of the new world. Hawaii and Canada were no different when it comes down to the days of mercantilism, which is now capitalist expansionism, which we know today. What's being affected by this expansionism is the First People, indigenous people of the world, creating more homeless people, creating more self-abuse when our value as a people is not acknowledged and our sovereignty is not recognized because of the ideology that exists around us. You can look at why the things are the way we are through the history, through the spectacle, and through how the society has defined the body. For example, we still hear the word Indian and squaw. For example, the book by Brian Buchanan called Copper Sunrise, that was removed quietly from the Vancouver Public School Board because it had the word squaw at least over 65 times. And a hunk papa woman, Kim Goodtrack, fought the school board and lost to get that book off the shelf, but they removed it nevertheless. Okay, there's also the Lone Ranger. There's always new forms of the Lone Ranger, now apparently with Johnny Depp. So they're using Johnny Depp as Aboriginal, part Aboriginal, so they're using our people against us to perpetuate the stereotypes. The Frank Paul Inquiry, that was another examination of systemic racism. So when you think about how does this all relate to today? Well, when you think about the mechanisms of business, corporatism, and government controlling the state and cultural apparatuses that form and define what the family, church, and state is. The indigenous people were separated from families, their mother tongue massacred, while some of their skins were turned into tobacco pouches. Those that were a bit luckier ended up on the reserves and ended up in road allowance towns, and basically were pushed away from dominant society while the new world was being progressed. So you can look at this continuation of the condemnation of the native people, as they called as red nigger, they called as savage, the Stoic Indian, but it was perpetuated in the high and low art of the time. The Romanticized period, you had Ferdinand Cooper's Last of the Mohicans, which is a famous movie directed by Michael Mann. The lowbrow dime novels of the Modernist period was where we got all the catchphrases, watch your back, once they get off the reservation, bite the bullet. All these references of it's, you know, we're always painted as the enemy in the popular cultures and form, even in the film reels. So after all this, this literacy forms of the newspapers of the time cemented the stereotype of the drunk Indian, the Hollywood Indian, into the collective minds of the masses. So after the residential schools and all that, the indigenous child learned hate instead of love. They were given condemnation instead of comfort. They were given suicide instead of potential. And you know why? Because I was one of those, right? I was in 16 foster homes between 1 and 4, and that messed me up for years, right? I couldn't love women. I didn't know what love was. I didn't know how to relate to women. And it was only through our women, our Aboriginal women, that I think me as a man, I found my voice, right? To understand how patriarchy has turned our world around. So I was more fortunate. So after all that, I wanted to stop and thank the great Creator for bringing us all here. Thank Gunargie Sullivan. We thank the National Community Radio Association. And I'd like to thank these ladies to be here, coming here to share the intergenerational trauma. Hi. May the Great Spirit be with you.